Hello Pretties, it's Angela here, and today's video is going to be a tutorial video on how to make this bracelet. That's similar to this. I had made this in my completed jewelry video for the bargain bead box for the month of January 2021. And so it was just it's very easy to make. You can use any bead you have that you want to kind of use up in your stash for this middle one. Middle length, and then on each side I just put attached chain. So it basically looks like a 3-layered bracelet, which it is, but it's attached with one jump ring at the end. So it's really simple to put together. It's quick to put together, and like I said, it's good for using up leftover chain or leftover beads that you just have a little bit left to do with. And there's the toggle on the back. So what I did was, like I said, a subscriber asked me if I would do a tutorial, and I was happy to do that for her. So what I did was I pre-strung up what's going to be my middle section of the bracelet in the length that you need. And for this one, I used these really pretty spacers. It almost looks like 2 bead caps in one. So I used those, and then I used some of these faceted beads that look like Amazonite. They're a faceted crystal bead. I thought those were a really pretty color. So I just had like a little baggie of those. I said, well, let me use some of those beads. And then I had the bead caps, or spacers, however you want to call them. Like I said, they look like 2 bead caps to me put together. So I used those. I'm going to use the silver toggle. And so what I'm going to do first is I am going to crimp. I'm going to go ahead and get a couple of jump rings as well. So I'm going to use a, let's see, what did I use on this one? I used about a 6. I think I'm going to use a 6 on this one as well. And then of course you're going to need chain. Now you can use whatever kind of chain you like, as long as you can get your jump ring through the end of the chain. This one was a small Rolo chain that I used. It came in the bargain bead box. This is a little bit of a larger length chain. But like I said, any chain will work. It just depends on what you want with your design. So the way I do it is I don't cut my chain prior to clasping this off. And the reason I'm going to do it to a jump ring is because I'm going to attach that jump ring to my toggle. I'm not going to crimp it to the toggle. The only thing I'm going to crimp is this initial strand to a jump ring. So I'm going to go ahead and get out 2 6mm size jump rings. And I am going to take one end of my strung bead strand, take a crimp bead, put my jump ring through. Now make sure your jump ring is closed, or that you're putting it, you're crimping it to the side that's not, you know, where you're going to open it up, and pull that tight up against the jump ring. Now to me, I do make sure that I, like I said, make sure your ring part that you're going to open later is towards the top, and make sure that your jump ring is as close as you can get it, that crimp bead. And then I'm just going to do a flat crimp right close to the jump ring. Just going to crimp it down flat, just like that. Okay. I'm going to move my beads down to the end of the crimp. Go ahead and do that. Get some of these beads to the other side. See if it'll go through one more bead. Alright. Again, slide those down. I'm going to take off my little bead buddy. I had it holding the other side for me. It was my extra hand. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my other crimp on. Do the same thing on this side. Again, make sure that you're not right over your opening of your jump ring. Put it back through your crimp. What I like to do is kind of hold on to that opening and pull your wire down. Okay. I pulled it as flush as I could get it to now again, make sure your beads, I always say that, make sure your beads still have movement. You want it to be a fluid so that when you put it on, it's not so tight that it's going to pop. Go ahead and give it a flat crimp. Okay, I'm going to cut off this excess beading wire. Okay, now that is our middle part of the middle section of our bracelet like we have here. This one was the crystals with the rondelle spacers and the spacer beads. This is totally different look, but it's very, very pretty. And it has, on the end of it, it has the 2 jump rings. And that is what we're going to attach the chain and our toggle with. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me, I'm going to get my pliers and hold on to that jump ring. So I have it open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach, now I didn't pre-cut my chain. I'm going to put the edge of the chain on the bracelet and see where I need it to be. Okay, so I'm going to measure it down to here and to where it needs to be on this jump ring. Okay. Let me get a hold of that again. Okay. And I see that it needs to be right. You want to go to the bottom of your jump ring, which is going to be this link here for me. So I'm going to cut off at this link. Find my wire cutters. I'm going to cut off at this link. Okay. Again, I can pick that up and measure it. Make sure that that's where I cut off at the right spot. And yes, once I put this on the jump ring, it should lay right there. So let me close this side up again. I'm going to open this side up and make sure that I put it on the same side that it is on the other, which is going to be the side of my jump ring. Okay, close that up good. Now, I have one side of my chain complete. So what I like to do is I like to take a head pin or a piece of wire or something, put it in the top loop of the one that you cut. And if it's easier, you can take it off of your jump ring. But I just like to take the wire, and I may do that. Let me go ahead and take it off of this side. Like I said, I'm probably making this a little bit more difficult than it needs to be. It's really not. Let's see. Let me go ahead and open it up. I'm going to take the chain off, and I'm going to close this back up just for now. Okay. Now, I have it attached to the other side. That doesn't matter. You can just take it and put it through the top link of your chain that you have not cut yet, and the top of the link of the chain that is cut. So now you have both of your chains on this head pin. I like to just go down and measure it to make it even with the other one, so you know exactly where you have to cut your link. I'm going to go ahead and cut it. So again, if they're on both on the same head pin, where's my link that I cut? It should be right here. Put it in the first of the next one. It should be even. Doing this off camera. Okay. It should be even down to the bottom. And I think I may have one more link, so I just have to cut that last bottom one off. That's what I like about putting it on a head pin. You can see exactly where it's at. It's even. Let's make sure I have it right this time. I have them both on the head pin. And I'm going to go all the way down. Ah, it keeps falling off. I'm making this look so much harder than it really is. It's really not hard, guys. I thought I had it through the top one, but it wasn't. Alright, so I have them both on the head pin. I'm going to go all the way down, and now they are completely even. I have those last two links at the bottom, so they're even. Okay, so I'm going to take the one that's not attached off. I am going to, again, take my jump ring. Now I have the chain on one side of the jump ring, my strand that's strung in the middle, and then I'm going to put the other side of the chain on the other side of the jump ring. Close that up. Well, actually, I'm not going to close that up. I'm going to put my one side of my clasp on that end of the jump ring. Now I'm going to close it up. Okay. At this part, you can put a little spot of GS Hypo Cement or a little dot of E6000 if you want to make sure that nothing comes off of that ring if it's not closed up completely to your liking. And that's not a bad idea, especially the GS Hypo Cement. You just have to give it a little time to set up and dry. I am just going to try to make sure that that is really closed good and pushed together really tight. And I think that that is closed up as close as I'm going to get it. And like I said, I may go ahead and add a little dot of the GS Hypo Cement in a little bit. So as you can see, you have your toggle claspers at the top of that jump ring, and then you have a piece of chain on one side and a piece of chain on the other side, and your strung strand is in the middle. We're going to go down to the bottom and do the same thing on this side. Just make sure that you're putting, when you open your jump ring, that you're putting the chain on the same side as the other chain is on. So I am going to open this up. I'm going to attach this side of the chain to the side of the jump ring. I'm going to move over and hold this side so that I can add the chain to the other side of the jump ring. If you add them both to the same side, obviously it's not going to lay flat. Okay, we're going to close, we're not going to close it up. I keep wanting to close it before I put my toggle on. We're going to add this end of the toggle. And if you find it too tight to work with, you can add another jump ring in between and add your toggle on with the jump ring. So again, I'm just going to work with my toggle, my jump ring, to make sure that it is closed off really good, really secure, really tight, and push that together closed. Now I just did a silly little thing and squeezed my jump ring a little too tight, and I think it's because I have my jump ring there, my toggle there, so it's all out of whack. I'm going to take this off, and because this toggle is a bigger toggle, I may end up with two jump rings, and I'm leaving all of this in. I'm not taking this out and editing it because, you know, my mistakes may teach you to do something a little bit differently. And believe me, I am far from perfect. I make a lot of mistakes. So it's all part of the process. It's all part of the learning process, creative process. So, and then some of these jump rings are not all that straight to begin with. So I'm, just working with what I have. So I am going to have to come out of that loop on my strung strand, and that's okay because it may take me a minute, but I am going to get that back on there. That crib bead's not going anywhere, so that's good. Okay, so I'm going to open this up. I'm going to follow my pattern here. Let's see, so we have, I'm going to lay it out flat. On this side of the jump ring, we have the chain first. So I'm going to make sure I have my chain first. Then it was the strung strand. And I'm just going to feed that jump ring. Back through my wire. Probably help if I had my glasses on, which I don't. It'll go back on there. Let's see. Yep, it went back on. Okay, so we have our chain, our strung strand, and then the other part of the chain. And I think I'm going to close this jump ring up and add another one for the toggle. Okay, so that looks, again, I don't want to get it all out of whack like I did the last one. I think that's pretty tight, and I think I'm going to add the hypo cement at the back just so it'll have a little hardness there, and hopefully it won't come undone. Alright, that one doesn't look good. Let's see. Some of these jump rings I got from AliExpress, and so they're a little irregular, and that's okay, because for the price, I'll take some of those irregularities. Alright, so I'm going to open this one, attach it to here. So all that's going to do is just give you a little bit added length, which is okay. I mean, as long as it's not too long for you, too big. We'll see how it ends up being, because I think I had the right length, but that's okay. I don't think it's going to add that much of a length because that toggle was big back there. Okay, so now when we lay this on our wrist, we're going to end up having a chain on each side of our bracelet. So I know that this video is probably longer than it should be, and it probably looks a lot harder. I made it look a lot harder than it actually is because it's really just basically stringing. And it's probably better that I did add that extra jump ring to the back because, and I may actually, unless it's just because I'm trying to put it on myself, I might add just one more jump ring because it'll give me, maybe I should add it to this part. I think I need to add it to this side because to get it to go through that toggle. It's a big toggle. And this is a pretty big bar. So I think I'm going to take it off of... See, I didn't have that problem with this one because it was a smaller toggle. But I think I'm going to take this bar off of this side and close it back up and add another jump ring on this side. I just hope it's not going to be too long for me. Let's see. Like I was saying, it's basically just a piece of chain on each side of a strung strand, and you just connect it with your jump rings. So let's see, I'm going to put it onto this jump ring at the end, not the chain, Angela, the jump ring. Alright, the jump ring, and then I'm going to attach my toggle end, and hopefully that'll give me a little bit more length to go through the other side. I think I need to open that up a little bit more. Okay, close that up, and then let's see if it works better. So of course when you have it off of you, you just want to kind of, you know, whoops, set it right to have the chain on each side. Once it's on your wrist, it stays once you get it clasped. And so it's a chain on each side of the strung strand. And then let's see if I can get this toggle. Sometimes I have trouble with the bigger toggles trying to clasp it on myself, but yeah, see, that worked out much better. So I needed that little extra jump ring in there to get that toggle through. It's a big toggle bar. That was the problem. But anyway, that is the strung strand in the middle. And like I said, you can use leftover beads. You can use anything you have in your stash to make that middle strand. Any type of chain, and it's just one on each side connected to the jump ring in the back. And that's all there is to it. It's really simple, really easy. And you could also put 2 chains on each side. You might need a bigger jump ring, but there's definitely a lot of endless possibilities. You could also do another strung strand and have chain strand and make it a 4 strand. You could to me, the only reason I did it this way was sometimes a lot of people don't have a lot of the multi-bar closure clasp, or sometimes you have a hard time finding them. And so this is an alternative to being able to make multi-strand bracelet without having to have those connectors. You can connect it to a toggle and just connect each one of your strands to the jump ring. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Click on subscribe, and also click on notifications so that you can be notified every time I upload a video to YouTube. If you haven't checked out my Facebook group, please check out the link below in the description box. I have lots of destashes and jewelry finds, and for jewelry making supplies, crystals, gemstones, findings, all kinds of stuff. So it's really neat to check out. So if you know anybody that's interested in jewelry, send them over to my channel and we can have fun creating together. Until the next video, guys. Bye.